Welcome to Friday Night Mod Review. I'm Hegemony, and I'm back from my small break. It's half term in the UK and I've just been enjoying my time, but in the future I don't plan to take breaks like this again. Anyway, why don't you join me in a quick night out to a kid's diner for some pizza while we watch the robotic animals perform on stage. The Funkin at Freddy's mod is a mod where Boyfriend is placed into the world of Five Nights at Freddy's and rap battles against William Afton, along with some other people like Shadow Bonnie and MatPat. I first found out about this mod from the teaser with the Fourth Wall song, and I was instantly blown away by how cool the 3D modeling and perspective is, as well as the song being incredible. Since then, I've awaited this mod's release, and even though it did take me some time to look into it, it was a worthwhile watch. So let's dive into this mod. Play the disclaimer. Everything we say in our reviews is subjective and our opinions. You don't have to agree or disagree, and we encourage you to make up your own opinions. Nothing we say is intended to offend or discourage people, so don't go around spreading hate. If there's anything you think we missed or want us to talk about, then leave a comment. This review is going to be split into multiple parts: art/animation, music, theme, charting, and overall, all rated from 0 to 5. This way we can break down mods into parts and speak on them individually. Quick reminder that none of us are experts, and this is just what we have observed.
The ranged style of the art through the story is really impressive as it progresses, and with the change from the 8-bit minigame look into the more typical Friday Night Funkin' style, it flows really well and doesn't remove your immersion, which is always good to see. One thing I really love is the animation. They're so over the top, but at the same time they're so smooth and flow from one movement into the other almost seamlessly. I've never really had a problem with the flow of movements in Friday Night Funkin' being choppy and such, but as quality through mods improve, seeing the talent from artists being able to deliver onto the screen is really good to see, and personally gives me a lot of inspiration for when I eventually start to animate assets for my own personal mods in the future. I only really have a few problems. First of all is how MatPat's mouth doesn't open on every single one of his movements, which kinda ticks me off, and how dizzying Fourth Wall can be, especially for the first time playing. The visuals, character models, and everything like that are absolutely amazing, but with how much it moves and how much visual weight is on everything without giving you a break, it really can be dizzying, as I said, for the first time or first few times playing, and honestly would be better without all the screen shake.
In terms of the 8-bit style, I love how the animations work and flow. It has a huge emphasis on making sure the animation works in both the context of Five Nights at Freddy's and Friday Night Funkin'. Might as well call it Five Nights at Funkin'. The idle animations and background movements remain true to the Five Nights at Freddy's 8-bit style, and the directional animations, well, we already talked about those. Springtrap is drawn in a very nice and stylized format. He fits the complexion of his Five Nights at Freddy's design while working well as a Friday Night Funkin' one. I love how they gave him little hand signs to each one of his animations just to give a little more character to him. As for the last major thing I want to point out, it has to be the 3D modeling in Fourth Wall. It's not designed to be the best thing ever, and that's what's so good about it. Being able to see the outlines of Scott Cawthon and Boyfriend is somewhat reminiscent of Borderlands, with Borderlands' sketchy and pencil-drawn style, and it looks nicely stylized. Good choice from the creators. My small little nitpicks/drawbacks are Afton's down animation in Midnight being a bit too extreme when compared with his other animations, Spring Bonnie Afton's animations being sort of unexpressive until he whips out the Ross-class shank, and the charred Boyfriend looking a bit off.
Overall, a very unique and appealing looking art style that mixes FNAF and FNF together very well. I really like how they utilize 3 completely different styles of animation to portray iconic FNAF characters. Very cool, very nice, very snazzy. Art and animation gets a 4.5 out of 5.
I feel it's necessary we include a section about Fazbars, considering it's the best part of this entire mod. The art is stunningly beautiful and is accompanied by jaw-dropping animation better than anything I've seen in a while.
I have never seen such painstakingly amazing detail in anything else other than Fazbars. Maybe next to Dave and Bambi like we mentioned in the last video, but we don't talk about that. I talk about the fluidness of the other songs, but Fazbars make it look like 3D Fart Man is really moving on the screen. Wow!
Jeez, not this again. Yeah, Fazbars is gorgeous. Love it. I really hope this is just a joke and not a threat to my well-being, but just in case, I'm gonna leave my thoughts on Fazbars here for my own safety.
In terms of art and animation, Fazbars gets a 1 out of 0. The music in this mod is real impressive, and as much as I want to jump straight to Nightmare or Fourth Wall, let's talk about the main week first.
The music, in similar praise to the art, flows together really well into going each song. Again, it doesn't break any immersion and is able to pick up where the last song takes off seamlessly, and that's really only talking about the main little story with William. Going off the sense of story progressive music, the secret songs themselves have loads of merit. The Matt Pat song being an amazing remix of the Game Theory main theme, and goes along with his whole personality really well. And 4-4 sounded like a heightened and even better version of the Stone Cold boss battle theme from FNAF World, which, along with the amazing sounding vocals from Scott, you might be able to say is objectively the best song in the entire mod. This is definitely one of those mod OSTs where I can listen to it in its entirety and not skip any of the songs. My main criticism, however, is how the first half of the OST is a bit less enjoyable than what comes after around the Shadow Bonnie battle. Now, as I said, I wouldn't skip those songs, that would just make me sound contradictory, but they could just have a little bit more of those memorable factors to them compared to what comes later in the mod, and honestly that would just boost it all and make it a lot more enjoyable.
The 8-bit songs use bit crush vocals to match their identity, but also include great levels of smoothness and flexibility when bouncing from note to note. Add these vocals to an instrumental track that fuses retro sounds and modern elements, and you have an old school sounding song with the FNF twist on it. I'm not going to say any more about the 8-bit songs because I really want to talk about Springtrap songs. Salvage starts off right in the action with Springtrap screaming at you, and it sets a nice precedent for the song. The instrumental is powerful, and it may just be me, but it gives off that metallic factory type setting. The instrumental does however change in the middle of the song, and I must say, the transition from in and out of that faster, more intense part is superb. Springtrap sounds good with his raspy voice, and I love how Boyfriend sounds more electric-ish. It creates a good contrasting synergy. Let's talk about Nightmare now. Nightmare is a big focal point for me, and I'll explain why right now. Jcarus made Nightmare ages ago, and it was a song that some people use in their Springtrap mods. When the song made it to this mod, however, it was updated, and now I'm in a strange middle ground where I love both the original and the remaster, but can't make up my mind as to which one is better. The remaster definitely has more pros to it, such as Springtrap having little voice lines and the instrumental sounding better in general, but something about the old version strikes me differently. Altogether, it's definitely one of my favourite Friday Night Funkin' songs ever, with a great sense of progression represented by the red flashing and error sounds, Springtrap cussing you out, and a strong build up to the intense final stretch. Shadow Bonnie's song Umbra has an eerie and quiet opening, which serves as a great transition into what comes next, the complete opposite. Shadow Bonnie's voice is amazing to me because of how monster-like it sounds in the slow parts, and the way they managed to translate it into the faster parts is awesome. The pairing with the flashing backgrounds referencing the retro Five Nights at Freddy's video games is also a neat touch. Just a Theory and 4-4 are great songs that I'd love to talk about, but I'm gonna let Snazzles have the spotlight. I've rambled enough.
Well now, thank you. As someone who's watched a lot of game theory in the past, hearing this remix of the opening gave me a lot of nostalgia and happy feels. The build-up gets you so hyped up for the beat drop, and when it does drop, it's just snazzy. But I will say that even though Matt Pat's vocals fit his voice, they sound a little awkward for the rock style remix. Despite that, it is a great tribute to the guy who helped piece together the FNAF lore, even if he milked the crap out of the series. Like, if you look on YouTube, there's about 56 theory videos that he made on the franchise. Like, geez, the guy. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Next song, Fourth Wall. This song has a great techno final boss theme, beat, and overall rhythm to it. It exemplifies the absolute power that Scott Cawthon has in this form, and it makes him look even cooler than he already is. His vocals sound so robotic, and it fits very well with the music. Just overall a very snazzy song that I really enjoy.
The music in this mod is stunningly good, and while a 5 is very close, music is going to hold a 4.85. Everybody involved did a great job. Music is an art people spend years mastering, and Fazbars fits right in with Moonlight Sonata by Vincent Van Gogh, masterfully created with top tier vocals and a banging Rice Gum diss track instrumental.
Fazbars doesn't need the bullshit of sound effects or anything like that to help back it up in its delivery, because the delivery, it's raw, untelling, hard-hitting and in your face. This song is definitely gonna get Gordon Freeman out of the hood for sure. Yeah.
In terms of music, Fazbars gets a 9 out of 2.
The theme of the mod is kinda obvious, no? Anyway, funny purple man murdered child become walking sarcophagus, farts loudly and dies. The main story you go through in the mod is basically a rundown version of the William story up to about FNAF 3 where he becomes burnt moldy toast in the oven, and after that you get to the other non-story songs. Now, that's all well and dandy and everything, but honestly this mod threw away the chance of being able to have a new character to fight William. Like, for example, it could be his own son Michael in FNAF 3, and have Cassidy or his other son Evan for the 8-bit battles, and have Boyfriend for the non-story songs. Going into that missed opportunity, Boyfriend himself doesn't really have a reason to be there. If the mod would have had new characters to fight William, it honestly would elevate the mod so much higher in its creative factor, and would finally be another mod to stray away from Boyfriend's never-ending attempt to battle every single living thing known in our current universe. I swear to God that boy would battle a table if it let out even a peep. Theme is probably the weakest point in the mod, just being funny William Man's story in Friday Night Funkin'. It's passable, but with a lot more changes, and especially in the characters and such, it just could be a hell of a lot better.
In terms of representing the Five Nights at Freddy style in Friday Night Funkin', the theme is decent. The whole Atari style and 8-bit songs are well made, but when we get into the context, it's a bit lackluster. Boyfriend is in these environments that are well constructed, but there's zero context as to why he's there. When looking into a theme, I also like to explore the context, and I have no idea what the context is with Springtrap. Boyfriend just comes back to life and fights him or something? Sure, there's no explanation as to why he went to a Fazbear diner anyway, but at least we see him slowly taken to the back of the diner and murdered by Afton. Springtrap has the burning down diner and the sirens going for him, but again, there's no context leading into it. The secret songs can slide since they're, well, secret songs, but I'd like to see a little more context for the main weeks.
I agree. Having Boyfriend battle William was cool at first, but it would have been so much more dramatic, compelling, and logical to have someone like Michael or someone else face off against the man behind the slaughter. I feel like more mods should try to use different main characters to rap battle their opponents instead of using Boyfriend. He looks like he could use a break. Or maybe not, since absolutely nothing can stop this gremlin from spitting bars at every living and non-living thing in sight. Theme gets a 3.3 out of 5.
Fazbars.
You might as well make Fazbars a whole 3-hour epic type movie. The amount of story and world building it puts into the song is breathtaking. I can't even describe it all in this one little section. Frizzle Frazzle Benazzle Dazzle Bear is definitely an amazing character in Fazbars, and only helps to elevate its godly quality.
In terms of theme, Fazbars gets an 8 out of 3. The charting in this mod is quite decent. There's nothing particularly offensive with Afton's charts. However, sometimes there's the odd awkward note because the vocals get a bit faster, but nothing to cry about. In You Can't, the charts often bank on repeating the same rhythm, then throwing out something different at the end, which leads to a nice feel of executing a pattern quickly, then switching to another with a small buffer in between. Some patterns maybe could be rearranged slightly, but it's a mostly forgiving song. Springtrap is mostly good, however he sometimes suffers from the odd note placement, like these grace notes kind of just being there for some reason. Doesn't really ruin the enjoyment though. Both Afton and Springtrap could benefit from using doubles and stuff, but Umbra is where stuff gets a bit more interesting. Umbra is a very fast-paced song with lots of staircases and doubles, however there are some sections where the chart jumps in difficulty very weirdly. The best remedy for this would be to move around the placement of the doubles and adjust the patterns in some areas to be more forgiving and fitting with their surrounding notes. Just Fury and Thoughtful both have fun and decent charts, however similar to what I said for the other songs, some patterns could be adjusted and doubles are always welcome. Packaging everything in one, the charts in this mod are very fun and entertaining to play. The problems I stated aren't enough to ruin this mod's charts, and if you are even just a little bit competent with rhythm games, these songs will be quite fun. Charting is a nice 4.6. Friday Night Funkin' has a problem with lacking in good hard charts, and Fazbars is a huge savior. People often dislike Mania charts because of how unfriendly they are to lower skilled players, however Fazbars is quite possibly the best entry level Mania chart. It uses challenging and unique patterns that are doable with enough practice and feel smooth and satisfying to pull off.
What Hedge Money said, Fazbars is the best chart to get any new player off of the ground, whilst at the same time being able to be an amazing new experience for well-seasoned players. It's so expertly crafted that the notes might as well be made out of diamond. Fuckable fast lane definitely delivers like no one else does, and that's a fact. Suck it.
In terms of charting, Fazbars gets a 7 out of 7.
Overall, this mod definitely delivered. With amazing art and music, it can be a good footnote for modern Friday Night Funkin' and the mods that are currently coming out today and in the future. The smoothness, differing styles, and more, all in the art factor, can definitely bring the bar higher in Friday Night Funkin' mod making, and the music is just overall an absolute banger to listen to. Also, the unmentioned sense of mystery of the mod and having little triggers and codes to unlock new battles was just really cool to figure out in themselves, so that was also very fun. I had a lot of fun playing through and picking apart this mod, and it's definitely fun to play through when versing friends on Friday Night Funkin' when we get the chance to. It's definitely a good mod, and if you haven't played it already, I would highly recommend it.
I agree. Despite the storytelling being a little bit vague and not really following an exact plot, the mod is very well done. Checking it out for myself is a treat, and I am very happy with the direction that FNF mods are going in. This mod is just another example of how creative and talented people can be in this community.
A lot of care went into this mod, and it's very clear. The art and animation is very well made, with great songs made with great charts made to be tough yet enjoyable, and a theme that is on its way to being amazing. While I love everything that went into this mod, I think I care the most about the music. It's just so damn good. J-Chris, please marry me. Putting all our scores together and accounting for any extra, this mod gets a nice and clean 4.7. Overall, Fazbars is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. I'm so awestruck that I will not summarize my points. Fazbars.
Freddy Fazbear farted.
In terms of overall, Fazbars gets a 1987 out of 5. Hello, yes, I am back. I took a small little break, but as I said in the intro, I don't plan on taking another break like that again. I'll try to keep a weekly schedule, but it may end up being a bit more freeform as I have a final major project coming up for college, and I'm likely going to be busy since it's half of my final grade and I'm really not trying to mess that up. But I'll continue to do what I can. Expect some new looks coming soon. We got something cooking up.
Subscribe or else.